Anchor, a special report. Bret, good morning to you, and thanks for being here.
Bill.
Just listen to Catherine report there. Is there a reason that we can state as to why, in all the Mueller report, Hope Hicks is the only person who has agreed to testify, who is mentioned in the Mueller report? Is there an explanation for as to why she said, yes, I'll come in and talk, as opposed to fighting it like so many others are?
Well, that's a good question. I think that the subpoena was put out. The White House, obviously, through the White House counsel, said that she was immune from questions dealing with her time as communications director. But obviously she has time with candidate Donald Trump and businessman Donald Trump, that perhaps there are some questions along those lines that she felt compelled to show up for the subpoena. And it wasn't covered in the umbrella coverage that they talked about, the immunity from the White House counsel. I don't know how much is going to come out of this, how many answers are going to actually come forward, depending on, how she answers them, if she's willing to answer them. But clearly, Democrats are trying to lay the groundwork to lay out the Mueller report and have impeachment without impeachment. And it's a tough process, as we've seen for Democrats. Okay, let's see what comes of this and if we learn any headlines, right, as the testimony continues there behind closed doors. I want to rifle through two more topics here real quickly. Ocasio-Cortez getting a lot of attention for an Instagram video she filed on Monday night. Here is part of what she said that has drawn the offense of many here in America and around the world. She said, in reference to concentration camps on the southwestern border, I don't use those words lightly. I use that word because that is what an administration that creates concentration camps is. Then she said never again means something, and we know never again as association with the Holocaust during World War II. Kevin McCarthy from the House went off on this a moment ago. Here he is on the Hill.
I think Congresswoman AOC needs to apologize, not only to the nation, but to the world. She does not understand history. She does not understand what's going on the border at the same time. But there is no comparison, and to actually say that is really embarrassing.
She has been in the middle of a lot so far in her young term, we should say, in Washington. Does this draw the attention of the leadership in her party? Do they force some sort of apology?
Maybe it gets to that. Maybe it gets to that point, Bill. She has pushed back on Twitter and elsewhere, saying that she was saying concentration camps, pointing to this expert in Esquire who said that you can have concentration camps without being death camps. But as a spokesperson, as she calls herself, for the everyman and every woman who hears the two words concentration camps thinks to Dachau and Auschwitz and others in the Nazi regime. So, that's one issue. The other issue is she is a member of Congress and she has the power to advocate for changes to the asylum law, for funding to increase the beds, the border security, the facilities down there. That has not happened. And the ICE director, acting ICE director, pushing back hard, saying, we've been calling it a crisis for a long, long time. And just now to hear this, he says, is disappointing.
Yeah, my sense is this story is not over yet, so we'll hang on for more when it develops. Quickly on last night in Orlando, I know you were watching it. Ronna McDaniel shot out this tweet a bit earlier today. Apparently they're raising money, Bret. This is what she says. Donald Trump has raised a record-breaking $24.8 million in less than 24 hours for his re-election. The enthusiasm across the country is unmatched, unlike anything we've ever seen. Here's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you believe the polls or do you not believe the polls? Do you listen to the midterm election of a year ago in the suburbs across the country who turned their back on the GOP? Or do you watch the lines in Orlando for the past day and a half and the 20,000 plus that packed the arena? Somewhere in there is going to give us the direction for where the country is today, Bret.
A few caveats. One, it's early. But two, we missed the crowds and the impact of the enthusiasm in 2016. And overall, the polls didn't capture that. There were people who didn't answer polls. Obviously, that event last night was a big event for the president in numbers, in enthusiasm, and obviously in fundraising. You look at this Quinnipiac poll in Florida that has Biden beating Trump by 9. The same Quinnipiac poll had Mayor Gillum beating Ron DeSantis on Election Day by 7. So you have to put caveats on all of this. Until you get one Democratic candidate against Donald Trump, painting with the broad colors that he does instead of the specific policy, he's going to be running on his record. And as he spent a lot of time last night, the judges, the federal judges, the justices on the Supreme Court, if the economy continues as it is, immigration, you know, the pillars that he's been talking about, it's all going to come down to that. I think it's too early to look at these head-to-head polls.
Debates in 1 week, they begin already. Thank you, Bret. We'll see you at 6 o'clock tonight.
We'll see you, Bill.